Alright then, I guess today is the day. Hello everyone, CG back, and today's going to be a bit of a different video. Because I'm not doing Transformers, I'm not doing Beyblades, Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh! For that matter. Today, it's about this guy. This, if you don't know, is a Lego B-daman. Most of it is my design. The core, however, is a modified version of another core of a famous Lego YouTuber. And if you don't know what B-daman is, effectively, they're little marble shooters that are built for target shooting. So, for example, zooming out real quick, doing this little shot, that's basically all they're built to do. Lego ones are a bit more customizable. Sadly, I do not have a set of parts that is supposed to make this look like what I was hoping it would look like. But this is Iron Liger. Now, there are a couple of modifications I've had to make. Let me just... Yeah. Marbles are stored in the back of the head and in what is the core, which I'll get into in a second. But first, let's disassemble Liger here. And I'm not going to worry about the legs, because the legs, they're a pain to get off and on. So, full disassembly of the core, remove this back piece, as well as this bottom piece, and slow and easy, remove the sides. And this is effectively what your core is. Now, in reality, this, I don't know if you can really see that. This little, suppose it's like a plus axle or a Phillips axle, is actually a little shorter in stock with the one I got. And these rubber little hose pieces don't like staying in place. Don't worry about that, you can reseat them. And stock, it does not come with this little double axle piece. In reality, half of it only stops here. That's what it's supposed to look like, with the thumb just resting on this rounded piece. But I swapped those out for a longer plus axle and a double-sided axle holder thing, so I could add what are known as trigger pads, so I can do stuff like this. There are a few designs, however we'll get into those later. Now, let me get this reassembled. Now, as I was saying about the core, this core is originally IX Rollout IX's design. On his channel, I believe it's called... Oh wait, no, it is called, on his main channel, IX Rollout IX. And he made these little suckers because on his other channel, called Rollout Reviews, he would review a load of B-daman, whether it be the Hasbro or the Japanese versions. And this core is using a bunch of just bricks in general. Of course, I have this modified, two sets of 1x3s with a 1x3 flat panel, and these little pieces here as like a brace for the rest of the core, because I tend to push forward. And the main piece is this Zamor sphere launcher, of which I had to go out and buy a whole set just to get. So yeah, it's a bit of a annoying part to get, but once you do have it, this core becomes extremely better. There is another core design out there that uses primarily Technic pieces instead of like actual bricks. And yeah, so there are a lot of things that are different about mine than rollouts. Originally, these 1x1 talls with these stud holes in them, they were meant to connect what would be IX's head. Obviously, as you can see... Wait, no, sorry. This axle was meant for IX's head. I think these were for something else. As you can see, though, yeah. Trigger pad, I've got like 3 that I primarily use, which is this one, this wide pad, which is big enough for both of my thumbs, and this single finger thumb pad for just like one handing triggered. The other one I have, it's not great. This is my roller trigger. Due to how tall the core is, I had to, well, make some adjustments. So, as you can see, this is now the same height. However, without this little yellow piece here, it would the actual trigger would be too short. It would not fire. The downside to this is that this trigger also does that. That is a very big possibility with happening, so I don't use it that often. I primarily use these two. This one I've used maybe like twice. But yeah, this is my favorite of the triggers. Most people would prefer this. I like this better. And now, there we go. Setting that to the side. Now we have the head. Now the head has gone through several iterations. At one point, with the loading gate, these two snot bricks, which is what they're called, these two 1x1 snot bricks originally were out like this to hold a back plate on the head to hold in the marbles. That got a little annoying to do because what I would do is have that be there and then have this little connector piece be like a, well, be like a suitcase 2x2 bar, so I could connect magazines and stuff, which I'll get into in a second. That got annoying, so I just decided to do the lift up loading gate technique, and now it works like a dream. Like, literally, getting all the marbles I had from earlier. Since I already have one loaded in the chamber, I can comfortably fit 4. Voila. Comfortably fit 4. As you can see, trigger works just nice. Then we have the arms. The arms are purely built for comfort. However, you can technically do the Fire Blast emblem charge thing by pinching on them, but I don't do that because the core is already stressed enough as is with how tight these grips are. Like, you can't really see it, but these two grips will open up when shooting, and heaviest target, by the way. Heaviest target. Watch how far that gets knocked back. Mind you, that is just the plastic ones. If I actually hit the target with the brunt, I'm not going to be able to knock it down, but like, yeah, it's that heavy. It moves at least 1.5 inches back every time I shoot it. And like I said, you can pinch the sides. Here's how I do it when I emblem charge. So like that. And while it does technically work, it ain't great. But enough about Liger. Let's move on to his accessories. Okay, so here's all his accessories, and you may be wondering, what the heck is all this for? So, there were a couple things I built. This is a roller sort of back piece. Roller stabilizer, kind of like the dash stabilizer from B-daman Fire Blast, but with the Rev device idea, with rollers on the sides of the B-daman's feet, allowing it to roll side to side smoothly. Sadly, I only have 2 rollers. I did do a design with more rollers in the feet, but it wasn't really worth it. So moving that aside, we also have the base stabilizer with these 2x2 pins, or 2x2 like pinwells that will just snap on and snap off real easy. That's more for something else we'll get into in a second. Next up, we have the magazines. Now, Each of these magazines actually holds a different number of marbles. And I did use a different kind of building technique for both of them. Because for this magazine, which will hold 3 on its own, 4 with the B-daman, I used a technique like this. So as you can see, I have 2 different colored triangular pieces. This one is blue, this one's a very dark green. It's easier to see on this one. And connected them using more like wing pieces and a 2x4. I don't have 2x4s in matching colors, I know. OCD people, I'm sorry. But, yeah. It's honestly a solid magazine. It works a fair bit better than this one, but it's a lot more finagled to work. And the way it connects is, zooming out again, doing that, and connecting via this white hook onto the grill bar. You might be thinking, oh, but there's a giant gap there and a marble could easily fall out. That's what these are for. That's what these panels are for. You're supposed to shift them forward, click it into place, open the back gate, reach through, and this little flag piece right here will become your loading sort of ramp, I guess. Keep it as flat as you can get it, and then load it up. Sometimes you will get a little problem with loading. Simple fix is to just move these down a stud and have them collide with the back of the head, like this. And it'll give it more lift and leverage. Now, as I said... Oh, God. There it is. This magazine allows the B-daman to hold 8 marbles. And you may see something out of the corner of your screen here. This is something that I built, mind you. Painful enough as is. Now, removing this, which is my guide rod to get all the marbles out of the tunnel. Moving this back a bit. And then switching stands real quick. It is literally just a black void through that tunnel. And on the other side of this little hole here is this little cockpit piece that opens up, allowing me to move the marbles out of the way if they get stuck. That also prevents the marbles from just flying up and out of the way. So, alright, and then put that down. Oh god, not now. Okay, locked and ready. And I have like you won't be able to see the magazine. I'll show you in a second, but just to get this out the way. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. You see it for like 2 frames. Whoop. Knocked out. There's still 4 marbles in here? Yeah. Shit. And I'm empty. Alright, now to show you those sites I was talking about. So, that's what I'm looking at. Yeah. Actually, you can probably see it. That's what I'm looking at. It's good, but it's a pain. Now, showing off the other magazine, connects in the same way. Lift up the gate, got a clip on the front, clicks in place. Now you may notice a different building technique. These are, I believe, 3 high, 2 across little window bricks. They're actually really solid because you can put them on 2x3s and just have it be a long freaking tunnel. And yeah, give me a second. I'll show you what I mean by this thing works way better. One downside is the loading gate is on, or the loading like doors on top, so you gotta deal with that. Getting all of these. So the magazine before allowed the previous B-daman to hold 8. This magazine allows it to hold 9, as you can see through this little side mirror, or side window, I guess. And then, yeah, moving this to the side, zooming in. Aim, fire. Son of a... Happens a lot if you can't tell. Probably too much. Serious? Last shot. There we go. Now, those are the magazines separately. 9 and 8 shots. But I thought, what if you combined the magazines? Yes, I did do this. So, starting off, remove the back panel of the 4-round. Open the flag all the way. You can leave this up or leave it. You can leave this up or close it. Doesn't matter. Click this sucker in place. Settle your flag. Believe me, it works. It just takes a sec. And then this will set on this 2x4 1 pin. And yeah, your marbles will get stuck on. If I actually zoomed in a little, your marbles will get stuck here between the this magazine and this little hinge bar, but it's a little sacrifice. Connect it to the magazine, connect it to the B-daman like you normally would, and bada bing, bada boom. There's your freaking 13-round magazine. Well, not 13, but 13 marbles in total with the head to the back of the mag. Now you might notice a little weight distribution issue. That's why I built this. This wasn't built before. It doesn't work the best with this kind of thing. But this, on the other hand, as you can see. Now, all of this, and then I'm going to push through with this little op rod here real quick, just to make sure all the marbles, yeah, cleared. All right. Open the loading gate and load them up. You may have to fidget with your magazine a little because sometimes they will get stuck before they enter the head. Now, I do have more marbles. You got some ice ones. Mind you, all the ones that are fire and ice came from Chima sets. I don't remember where these came from, but they came from somewhere. And this yellow marble came from the set that had the sphere launcher. Now, settle this as flat as you can get it. And as you can see, it's a long boy. Big old B-daman. Move this to the side a little. Now, this thing isn't really built for rapid fire. However, oh crap. Downside about Legos. They can pop off of stud holds very easily if they're just friction held. Settling that down. Got one shot off. 2 shots. Hell. That's new. There we go. That one's supposed to happen. Alright. Locked and dropped. Another red, yellow, and lastly a red. Voila! Probably the most insane thing I've ever built. And before you ask, no, this does not work with that. Works with these just fine. But, yeah. Favorite trigger for a reason. Because I can do that when it's not filled to the brim. And then, just disassembling this real quick. And then putting it back in its normal magazine states. Now, the Xenosphere core, well, it is built for the plastic Lego marbles seen here. It can also shoot glass marbles. And it just so happens I have 3. So, yeah. Locked, loaded, and ready. Alright. 1 shot. It's every marble that was in the tunnel just going backwards. And as you can hear, a lot stronger than the plastic ones. Yeah. Like I said, does quite a bit. Like, just to give you an example of how strong these glass marbles are. Locked, dropped, and set. Right here. Yeah, the plastic ones couldn't even knock it over. This just one-taps it. And to prove a point, here's one of the Lego ones versus a glass one. Alright, Lego. That's new. Fire ones couldn't do it. Hang on. Let me try it with a fire one real quick. Yeah, fire ones can't do it. What? That'll make no sense. Yeah, maybe it's because I use the fire ones more often. God knows why. One more time. Yeah, what? Ice ones do it just fine. Hang on. Okay, so it sometimes works if I hit it in the right spot. Okay, so sometimes it works. Moving it back to about there. Loading it with the glass one. This just... yeah, it doesn't even need to try. Yeah, try me. Anyways, that's been CG with Lego B-daman Iron Liger. Signing off. Well, I almost forgot to record something. Okay, so another thing that I have this little stadium thing set up for is removing this top metal piece, and as you can see, there are smooth tiles. That's for this, this, and this. These are somewhat weighted targets. This one's just full of like connector pieces for stuff like Technic. And this is based off the strength shots that they used to do. So like shooting the medium weight target with a plastic one. How far can it go? Almost all the way, as you can see. I'm also technically supposed to remove these little ramp pieces and put them on to these little 1x1 stud connectors so you don't lose them. As it was. Or you can set them down like that as to keep them in place. And there's a sort of lift for the marbles and a breaker point for these suckers. But yeah, no, this works with all of the weighted targets. Like, as you can see, obviously they're a bit inconsistent, even with like just launching a bunch of fiber marbles or glass one or two. As you can see, didn't fall over. Resetting it. That wasn't supposed to happen. Let's try that again. Okay, that's just weird. There we go. But yeah. And once you're done with all that, you can... well, first you're probably going to want to lay these down for obvious reasons. So, settle those in place. Bring them forward. And then push down. Keep them nice and tucked. Yes, I have this thing connected like this for because a lot of the times the marbles, before they would even get over here, would fly up and above and just fly up. So I need this and this to push them through. And just so I can prove a point, yeah. And then I lay down this 2x6 all the way at the back here. Nice and tight at the back. Then lay this one with these black connector bars down. Then this frame piece at the back. Nice and tight. And then this cockpit top piece. It also has a secondary purpose, I guess you could call it. By turning this clip upside down, and then doing this, you get a sort of like feedback ramp to try. So load a marble, as you can see. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. Where did that marble? Ah, it's back here. Okay. Let me get you a bit more height. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, loaded a yellow in. It's spinning, by the way. Yeah, that happens, and then the glass ones just... Yeah. Just so you can see what happens. Yeah, that's all that does. Anyways, this has been CG, first ever 30-minute video, signing off.